Hello, boys and girls. Today I'm going to go through lesson 1-1, numerical expressions. This is on page 3 of your math workbook. I'm going to try to go through it and tell you basically what you need to know for the week. We're going to be taking words and writing them as numerical expressions, and we're going to take numerical expressions and write them as words. So back and forth. It will be important that you know words that indicate addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Over here, they've shown you there are various ways. They want to make sure that you understand there are various ways to show multiplication. You can show it with the little multiplication dot. You can use parentheses on one or both numbers. We used to use an X to indicate multiplication, but now that we're in algebra, X is more commonly a variable. So we're not going to be using X as much anymore. Example 1 is translate a verbal expression. Translate 1 plus 8 divided by 3 into a numerical expression. So you would go 1 plus 8 divided by 3. Right? Now down here there's a check. Translate the verbal expression into a numerical expression. 7 times 15 minus 2 times 9. So, let me get my pen. Now, excuse my handwriting. I'm using a graphic drawing tablet. That's not turned on. Okay. 7 times 15 minus 2 times 9. All right? Super easy. This only gets interesting once we have to start incorporating grouping symbols. Okay? This is on page 4 of your workbook. Here they're showing you translate the sum of 5 and 9 divided by 2. Whenever you see a phrase, the sum of or the difference of, both of those scream you're probably going to need parentheses. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to take the sum of 5 and 9. We want the person to have to add 5 and 9 together before you divide by 2. And the way we force this is we put it in parentheses, and then according to the laws of PEMDAS, we have to do that first. So this would be 5 plus 9 in parentheses, and then divided by 2. Another way we can indicate division is we can do 5 plus 9 and then put it over 2. That will work also. Okay. Like I said, my handwriting is going to be a challenge in this because I'm not used to writing on these graphic drawing tablets. Example 3, write a numerical expression. A person's handicap in bowling is usually found by subtracting the person's average from 200, multiplying by 2, and dividing by 3. Marley's bowling average is 170. Write a numerical expression for Marley's handicap in bowling. Well, the first step to find the handicap is to subtract the average from 200. We know his average is 170, so we subtract 170 from the 200. And that gives us 30, but what they've done is they've taken the 200 minus 170 and put it in parentheses, and then we're going to put the 2 out here to show that we're going to multiply the difference by 2. Okay, and then we want to show divide by 3, so I'm going to write it over here because I'm going to need to be bigger than I can do there. We would have all of this over 3 would be a way to write that. Okay. So let's go down here to the check. To convert temperature in degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit, you multiply the temperature in Celsius by 9, divide by 5, and add 32. Write a numerical expression to convert 37 Celsius to Fahrenheit. All right, so going back into the word problem, they've given us 37 Celsius. The word problem says to do this, you multiply the temperature in Celsius by 9. So I'm going to have 37 times 9, divide by 5, and add 32. So looking over here, which of these matches what I've written? Well, it looks to me like A is the correct choice. It has 37 times 9, divided by 5, and add 32. Okay. Let's move along. I don't want this video to be incredibly long. No one will ever watch it. All right, evaluating numerical expressions. They want you to know some terminology here: exponent, base, and power. just a quick example. If I have 5 to the second power, this is the base. 5 is the base. 2 is the exponent. But what you might not know is the whole thing is called a power. I always kind of thought this was the power, the 2, but it's not. According to the rules of math, the whole expression is the power. So that's what it's telling you over here. It's reminding you of the steps of order of operations. You probably call it PEMDAS. That's why I put this one here. Parentheses and other grouping symbols are done first. Exponents and square roots are done second. Multiplication and division are equal power. You do whatever one comes first from left to right. And addition and subtraction are also equal in power. You do those from left to right. Okay. So let's go down here to example 4. Oh, and example 5 was hidden down there. How fun. Example 4 and example 5. Evaluate each expression. Get my handy dandy pen out here. All right, 2 to the 4th power is the same as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and this is 4, so this is going to be 16. 4 to the 5th power, well, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4, and I think, gosh, I need a calculator for that one. I can do some math in my head, but not that much math. This is going to be 1024. Feel free to use a calculator at home too. All right, so example 5. They've given us an expression and they've asked us to evaluate, tell them what it's equal to. Okay, so what would we do first? There are no parentheses, so we go straight to exponents. This little 8 to the 2nd power is going to be our first thing, and you'll notice that's what they did. They brought everything else down, 20 minus 7 plus, and they wrote it as 64 minus 7 times 11. So now we've done exponents. Let's go to multiplication and division. Well, there is just one multiplication or division problem, and it's the 7 times 11. So they got 77. Now we're down to just addition and subtraction, which are done from left to right. So they did the first one first. 20 minus 7 is 13. Brought that down, brought that down. 13 plus 64 is 77. Brought that down, and then did the last problem and got us an answer of 0. So, okay. Next page. On the check, they want you to write the order of operations. I typed it in because my handwriting with this is atrocious. Step 1, parentheses and other grouping symbols. Step 2, exponents and square roots. Step 3, multiplication and division. And step 4, addition and subtraction. If you need to write those down, feel free to pause the video. Let's look at example 6. Write and evaluate a numerical expression. So we have, what is with bowling today? Bowling must be our theme today. Melly is playing a bowling game at an arcade. She rolls 2 balls into the 30-point hole, 4 balls into the 20-point hole, and 3 balls into the 50-point hole. Write and evaluate an expression to find Melly's total score. So complete the table to write an expression. All right. Let me switch over to pen. Okay. So she's got 2 balls rolled into the 30-point hole. So we're going to put 30 there. That's a 3 if you can't tell. Plus 4 balls rolled into the 20-point hole and 3 balls rolled into the 50-point hole. So now, using order of operations, we do the multiplication first. 2 times 30 is 60. 4 times 20 is 80. And 3 times 50 is 150. We're going to add all those together, and I believe that gives me 290. Yeah, I think 290. So Melly scored 290 points. Isn't that fun? I think we're having fun. This is very fun. Okay. Now let's look down here at the check. A computer technician charges a flat fee of $50 plus $25 per hour. So $50 for him to come out and $25 for every hour he works on the computer. On Monday, he worked on, I don't know how to say that name, so we're just going to call her A. On Monday, he worked on A's computer for 2 hours. On Tuesday, he worked on A's computer for 3 hours. which expression or expressions represent A's bill? Well, we know we have a $50 flat fee that he has to get paid, but he also is getting $25 for 2 hours and $25 for 3 hours. So this constitutes everything he's going to be paid. Which of these are equivalent? Here we have $50 plus 25 times 2 plus 25 times 3. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. But are there more that are correct? Well, this one is not correct. C is not correct because there's no $50 flat fee for C, so we don't like C. On E, we have all the correct numbers, but they're not in the right places. He's charging $50 an hour here instead of 25, so E is not correct. B, they've taken the 2 and the 3, and they're going to add those together first and then multiply it times the hourly rate 25. Totally legit. We can go with that one. And D is just a simplified version of B. They've added the 2 and 3 together to give us 5. So everything else is the same, which makes D also correct. So the question asks us, how much is her bill? Well, let's use this one. 25 times 5 is 125, plus 50 is $175. That must be a really good computer if she's willing to pay that kind of money to fix it. That's a lot. More money than I have. All right. Moving on. This is example 7. All right. Expressions with grouping symbols. Now, they're going to involve parentheses. They're going to force you to do what's in the parentheses first. Here they're showing you have to do what's in the parentheses, then you raise that to the power. You do what's in these parentheses, then you multiply it by 3, and you get your solution. 81 divided by 9 is... 81 divided by 9 is 9. All right. And example B, they have multiple sets of parentheses. Always do the innermost parentheses first. So that's what they're going to do in here. They're going to do this 3 minus 1, or 3 minus 2, that's 1, and 1 to the second power is 1. So I think they're 3 minus 2, they want you to put a 1 here. And then 1 to the second power is 1. And then 10 plus 1 is 11. And then all you have left then is addition and subtraction. So 15 minus 11 is 4. And 4 plus 6 is 10. Okay. Very straightforward. Not too terribly complicated. And then we have the check down here. Okay. The check is 2 to the third power. So the first thing we're going to have to do is figure out what 2 to the third power is. That's 2 times 2 times 2. A lot of times kids say 6 to that one, but it's not. It's 8. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. And 15 plus 9 is 24. Now we do the subtraction and we get 3 over 24. And that reduces to 1 over 8. Okay? Good, good. We're getting there. Put this back. Okay. You need to have a plan for problem solving. This is a good plan. Understand the task, plan your approach, solve the problem, check your solution. Good words to live by. Here we have write and evaluate expressions. Okay. Here we have Thursdays are student days at LSC Theaters. Student tickets are $5 and popcorn refills are free. You will buy a ticket and a 20-ounce bottle of water, and you will split the cost of a large tub of popcorn and large candy with a friend. How much money should you bring? We are being asked to find the amount of money that will be spent. How much are you going to need? Okay. I typed all this in advance because this was a lot of very small writing. Write an expression to represent the total cost of the ticket, drink, and food. Evaluate the expression to find the cost. All right. Write the expression. I need that chart. Okay. Write the expression for the total cost in dollars. We have to buy a ticket. That's $5. We have to buy a drink. That's $5. And we get half of a large popcorn. Okay. So 1/2 times the cost of a large popcorn. And half of a large candy, 1/2 of the cost of a large candy. Using the order of operations, we solve this and we find out that it will cost us $15.50 to go to the theater. Okay. Our check While she was on a 7-day vacation, Mrs. Hernandez boarded her dog at a kennel. If her boarding budget is $250, can she afford a daily extra walk and one wash and a nail trimming? Well, I have here the amount of the kennel, $24 a day for 7 days. An extra walk each day will cost you $4 per day. One wash is $45. A nail trim is $12. I added all those together and came up with $253. I think she can manage it, but the actual answer is no, because she only has a $250 budget. Come on, woman, it's your dog. Give it an extra $3. Whatever. So that brings us to the practice problems. That is all that I'm going to ramble on about today. The practice problems have been assigned to you. Like I said, I will have no way of knowing if you've done them all, but I can promise you your quiz questions are in here somewhere. Okay? So if you want to do well on the quiz, make sure you do enough of these that you're confident in your abilities. We'll go over these on Thursday. All right? That's all I'm going to ramble on for now. That's lesson 1-1 for algebra, and I will see you in lesson 1-2.